Classes. Classes are the most common type of reference in programming. A basic class declaration consists of the word class followed by the name enclosed in braces. For example, let's create a class. That's very simple. So we do class name example. We created a class. That's a very simple class. A more complex class declaration may include additional elements. Let's take a look at them. First, class modifiers and attributes. These modifiers can be used to specify the accessibility and the behavior of the class. Non-nested class modifiers include public, internal, abstract, sealed, static, unsafe, and partial. Let's take a look at how we can write those classes. So first of all, we will create the public class that will be called my example class. This is how we create a public class. Also, I want to tell you in advance, we will talk in a great detail about each of those modifiers so you completely understand what they do and why do we need to use them. First of all, I'm telling you just how to declare them. In the future sections, we will talk about all the details about those classes. First, we created the public class and we called it my example class. Let's create internal class. Also call it my example class. So we can do that. Now let's create abstract class. Abstract class already contains a definition. Okay, let's create my internal class. Okay. We go further. We have a sealed class, which is a sealed class. That is an access modifier as well. And static class. Static class. We have a partial class. Okay, so we created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of modifiers, and those are accessibility modifiers. Second, generic type parameters and constraints. Classes can be defined with generic type parameters, allowing for more flexible and reusable code. Constraints can be applied to these parameters to enforce specific requirements. Okay, so let's create a few examples of generic classes. Okay, that will be class, generic class. And we write T inside to specify. If you see the T, you will be seeing it a lot. This just specifies you that the class is generic. It's a class with a generic type parameter. Also, we have a class with generic type parameter and a constraint. So that will be class generic class. We write T and then where keyword T is some base class. Yeah, some base class, we can create it very quickly. Public class, some base class, and that's it. Generic class restricted. Generic class restricted. So we use the class, and that is a constrained class. We'll talk about it in our future lessons. Okay, we have inheritance and interfaces. A class can inherit from a base class, which we already seen. So we're basically inheriting from this base class. A class can inherit from a base class and implement one or more interfaces which define additional functionality and contracts for the class. So let's create a few examples. So we have class, derived class, which is from some base class. That class inherits from a base class. So basically, whatever properties we have here, it will be passed to the class derived class. We will be able to access it from the derived class. Yeah, let's create interface. Let's call it iInterface1. Let's do them public. Okay, let's create another interface. Public interface iInterface2. And we will do it as well. So we have two interfaces, and we can do a some base class, and we can implement those interfaces. Interface 1, interface 2. We can also do that. We can implement both of those interfaces. Yeah, that's about inheritance. We will talk about inheritance, about interfaces in great details. And the fourth is class members. There are various elements that make up a class, including methods, properties, indexers, events, fields, constructors, overloaded operators, nested types, and finalizers. Class members define a behavior and data associated with the class. Inside our program class, let's create, we already talked about it, public void method. We can do a method, we can create a method, we can do pub int property, get set. We can do public event handler my event. We can do field public int my field without get set. Constructor for program is ctor, and that will be a constructor. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll talk about finalizers, nested class, and overloaded operators in our future lessons. But for now, this is all you want to know as a starter. Yeah, in this chapter, we will explore all of these class constructs, except for attributes, operator functions, and the unsafe keyword. We will cover them in our future lessons. Each section will provide an overview and explanation of different class members.